Go on, guys, please. Get one yourself, son. And what a great goal. Not so. Shoots!
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Only Leeds Bros for Friday night's live stream, where we bring you all the latest Leeds United transfer news. We've loads to get into in this video. We're going to speak about Leeds United's latest link with a bit of credibility behind it, Bilal El Khannouss. We're going to talk about the striker situation at Elland Road. We're going to talk about a couple of fullbacks, and then we're also going to talk about Joffy Gelhardt as well. So, but before we do get into the video, guys, please make sure you're slapping a like on the video, and of course, if you're new here, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. We're very close to 3,400, so we do appreciate all the support as always. Before we do get into the video, I've just got a bit to say. Happy Yorkshire Day to everyone out there from the two Irish bros. We are Irish, but we're definitely a bit of Yorkshire at heart, Dylan, aren't we? So, happy Yorkshire Day to all you guys. I hope you enjoyed it and hope you had a good day and that. We do want to as well, some of you might have seen it, I do want to give a special mention as well to a friend of ours, John Redmond, who isn't too well at the moment. So just want to let him know that our thoughts are with him. He's been a very good supporter of our channel since we started here at OnlyLeedsBros. So actually gave us the encouragement to go and do it. So just want to let you know, John, our thoughts are with you, and everyone as well at the Leeds United family are thinking you, buddy. Keep battling, and we're all thinking you, and thoughts are with you and your family, pal. Also as well, guys, there is a night that I want to mention as well up in Belfast. This is day before the Leeds and AC Milan game. It's a night which the legend Stuart Dallas and Tony Dorigo. It's up in Belfast next Friday, the 8th of August. Doors open at 7:45. Tickets are $31.50, and it is in the Mill Theatre. As I said, it is the day before the AC Milan game, so if you do want to go to that as well, grab your tickets, make a weekend of it. It's going to be a cracking weekend next week when Leeds United do come into town. That's that out of the way. Let's dive straight into it, Dylan, because we have a lot to get into in this video. As always, guys, make sure you're getting your thoughts in the comments below. We love a bit of debate here on Only Leeds, bro, so make sure you're getting your thoughts in as always. But Dillo, how are you?
I'm nervous of everyone that knows we're doing a 60k cycle tomorrow, so I'm a bit, you know yourself. But yeah, all good. It's Friday night. It's gonna chill out with the missus. That's really it, yeah. You know yourself.
Yeah. As what Dylan says, we weren't going to mention it, but Danny Talks Leeds brought it up last week. Myself and Dylan are doing a 60k cycle tomorrow for our dad that passed away in April from heart disease, a heart attack. So we're doing it in memory of my dad and in aid of the Irish Heart Foundation, who do life-saving work. So we've raised over €1,000. I think it's 1,200 that we've raised now. The target was 1,000, so we've got there. So there's going to be a couple of sore bums, Dylan, tomorrow after 60k cycle tomorrow. But looking forward to it. And again, thanks after the last time we mentioned it, there was loads of people reaching out and giving us all our well wishes as well. So thanks very much to you guys for that. Dylan, let's say hello to a couple of the people in the building that decided to join us on their Friday night. Danny Talks Leeds is here. He says, smash a like and subscribe. Please do that. Amy Clark is here. Says, evening, lads. Evening. Amy Jam, the Welshman, is here as well. Evening, you pair of Irish legends and chats, of course. Thanks very much, brother. Philip MOT, hi folks, sending best wishes to fellow Irish Leeds fan John, thinking of y'all, and we all echo that, buddy. We really, really do. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Setting up the last few bits. The more we're kind of getting together and information and notes and all that, the later we seem to be running. But we're trying our very best to be on time, which is Matty from Imagine Not Being Lee says, love you lads, love you too, Matty. Looking forward to seeing yourself and Elizabeth now next Friday to travel over to the game. Paul Brennan is here. Says, hello, gentlemen and fellow Leeds fans. All Leeds, aren't we? We certainly are, brother. We certainly are. Dylan's mate BMG is here, says, up lads, up brother. Always positive is BMG. Always here to put Dylan in his place and make sure he's being positive and not too negative on us. Bilal El Khannouss, El Khannouss, sorry, El Khannouss, yeah, El Ghazi. Do you know what I was thinking, El Ghazi? Because I was on YouTube there and I came across that video against Aston Villa, obviously when the trouble with Patrick Bamford and Click and El Ghazi, I'm weird like that. I randomly just go off on tangents, watching old Leeds stuff and Leeds videos and stuff like that, and El Ghazi was just in my head as well. Decent player at his time and then completely fell off a cliff, so apologies. Bilal El Khannouss, not El Ghazi. Sorry about that.
At least you can say it. I'll end up butchering it, to be fair. So
fair enough, yeah.
So
John is here also. He said, good evening, guys. Evening, John. Thanks for popping in, brother. Thanks very much. Thoughts with John Redmond and his family. Yeah, and I'm sure we all echo that, guys. Loads in the building. Loads here saying hello. Who else have we got? We have a super chat here from GP26. Thanks very
Legend.
much for your super chat, buddy. Really do appreciate it. The thing with other teams going for players means that we're looking for the right man. If we were shit, no other teams would be looking at them. So we're doing the right thing. Relax, Leeds. We will get this right, and I agree as well. And
Love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
at least we're shopping in the right pond anyway. That's the main thing. Dylan, look, let's get into it and let's talk about El Khannouss, not El Ghazi. Bilal El Khannouss. Feels like, Dylan, a little bit with this one. Look at not a direct replacement for what we were looking at Igor Piroe, but a very, very good player, in my opinion. I think he'd be a great sign if Leeds do get it across the line. Very much a central attacking player. Number 10 that Leeds United have been looking at for maybe 18 months to 2 years, which is mad. The waters that we're fishing in. We've obviously seen it in pre-season. Daniel Fark going to the 4-3-3. So is he thinking of El Khannouss to play on the left-hand side? Or is he going to revert back to the 4-2-3-1 like what he done last year? Who knows? But we'll talk about El Khannouss in detail anyway. So as I said, yeah, he's more or less that attacking number 10 role. He is a very good player. Stats aren't great, but the eye test, if you watch him, he's very, very good. A very good player. And look, let's be honest, he was in a poor Leicester team last year as well, and he was a shining light in the second half of the season. Young player, only 21 years of age, and he can operate out on that left-hand side as well. We keep saying it. We noticed with Daniel Fark, he likes his players to play different positions. And if you did have a front three there, if we went 4-2-3-1 with, El Khannouss on the left, Nanto on the right, Ramazani, Dan James, whoever you want to put in there, that's a very, very attacking front three, Dylan, for me. But Dylan, when you hear this link, obviously a bit of interest at the minute. The release clause is said to be 24.5 million. There's nothing there yet about, personal terms being agreed or Leeds wanting to trigger. It was all just, inquiring at the minute. But would you think this be a player that Leeds United should go after, and would it be a good signing?
I'm excited about the fact that you can play in different positions. I think that's something that's very rare nowadays, but it's such like a cheat code, if that makes sense. If a certain player is injured or, suspension, etc., the whole lot. But yeah, young, 21, has Premier League experience under the belt, of course, with Leicester. They're not great, let's be honest with you. He will fit a lot better into this Leeds team. Other than that, though, I did see he's a technical gifted creative midfielder, mainly deployed as a number 10, as you've said. He can affect from the left or deeper in midfield. Known for his close control, dribbling under pressure, and tactical intelligence. So, sounds really good. Sounds all very good on paper and sounds really good in the head. But will he be able to perform with Leeds United? And definitely young, agile, exciting. Definitely exciting times. I did see as well now whether, take it with a pinch of salt, that supposedly they held a meeting with the representatives, and Leicester on the 31st of July, signalled they intend to move quickly. So only time will tell. But yet again, the 49ers are coming back around with more, just adding more fuel to us. Yeah, cheese.
We've just got Joe B rated, and the rated word is cheese. So thanks very much, Joe B. All cheese, aren't we? Yeah, we are. But thanks very much, Joe B, for sending everyone across. I do appreciate all the Joe B raiders in here. Do really appreciate it. Colin is here as well. Thanks very much, pal. Yeah, Dylan, as I said, look, it's a player that I certainly would like. I've seen some crazy takes as well, again, on social media, and what you're going to get some people turning their nose up at El Khannouss saying, he's not good enough. But we did speak about this, Dylan, and we did kind of send out a bit of a warning that when you're fishing in the waters of Igor Piroe and you don't get him, 9 times out of 10, Dylan, it's going to be a disappointment whoever we get after that. Look, we seen 2 hours after that, then we were linked with Johnny Rowe, and I knew that was just, it was an easy link to make after Leeds United, after the deal fell through for Igor Piroe. But this one, Dylan, here with Khannouss, I think it is very, very good. People are going to look at his stats, as I said. I'm going to say, look, it's not very good, doesn't really back it up. But just the eye test, Dylan, he was involved, I think it was, I read today, in 77 or 78 attacking goals since he's been with Leicester City as well. So he mightn't be the assist, but he's like the pre-assist. He's in that build-up. So a very, very good player, a very exciting player, would definitely get bums off seats. And it's the players that we like at Elland Road. The only way I can liken them to kind of similar style as what Pablo Hernandez was, could operate out on that left-hand side, but very much a number 10. He can do the same thing, and yeah, I think it'd be a cracking signing, Dylan, if we get him. I think we have to move fast on it, because I believe towards the end of August, that's when the release clause then goes void, and you might get a few people sniffing around. There is talks of Crystal Palace being interested in him as well, because we know Arsenal are interested in Iberi Eze, so if he goes there, that could be their replacement. So I think if Leeds United are going to get this done, it feels like we need to get this done, kind of fairly sharpish.
Yeah, definitely. I think, regardless who Leeds are linked with, you know, whether they're speculation or whether they're true rumours, it seems to be now teams in the Premier League or even in Europe that are kind of pushing towards to take it from underneath us. We've seen that with the board coming out and stating, you know, we need to stop doing this more or less, but that ain't going to happen. So other than that, but I like the fact that Leeds are just moving. There's a lot of rumours, a lot of noise coming from the Leeds side, and it's great, you know. And a young 21-year-old, what's not to like? And look, yeah, he hasn't kind of quite proven himself. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we need to sign him. I just like that the noise is coming, if that makes sense. Potentially a good signing. Yeah, we'll see that. You know, with 36 experience, 8 goals, he could develop into a better player. But time will tell. But you never know. We could be linked with someone else tomorrow, and it could all change. Yeah. You just don't know.
It's the madness. It's the madness.
From what I've read so far and what I've seen, same thing. YouTube is the place to go to see this. Yeah, he looks alright. He looks, as I say, technically gifted.
And like you said, Dylan, young as well, 21 years of age, all the talent in the world.
Yeah.
Look, the question is obviously going to be as well, does he want to go into a similar situation, what he was in last year, Leicester City, newly promoted club, is he up for that fight? You know, that might be a deal breaker for him as well. You know, if Crystal Palace come in from obviously more, I definitely wouldn't say a bigger club, but more of an established Premier League club. So, as you said, we know now as Leeds fans, this transfer window has been absolutely crazy. We've had players right in our grasp, and then they've been pulled out underneath us of, like, you know, Habib Diarra, Igor Piroe, and then we've got, you know, very good signings in the door, and Anton Stack and Lucas Perry and Bilal, and it's been a very, very good window so far. But Leeds, we still do have a bit to do. Little less than 5 weeks to go. I think it's about 4 weeks and 2 days left to go till the window closes. Actually, this day next month, the 1st of September, it closes as well. So still a bit for Leeds to do, but we'll get into that. Jam says here, El Khannouss is a great talent. I've seen some comments saying that his stats aren't great, but let's not forget Leicester were terrible last season, and one man can't do it on his own. And exactly, and obviously a totally different position. But if you look at Jayden Bogle, when we signed Jayden Bogle, there was similar sort of things said about Jayden Bogle as well, that he was poor for Sheffield United. You know, is he going to be able to, you know, throw on that white shirt, and how will he deal with that pressure? And you just don't know. Sometimes players and managers can click, Dylan, and, you know, you just don't know the influence Daniel Farke could possibly have on him and his career.
Well, Farke does have the tendency to kind of turn players around, you know, from example, Nanto, you know, possibly now even Jack Harrison, Wober, to a certain degree. You know, he kind of, let's be honest with you, he's kind of like a demanding manager where he works you hard, he puts you under pressure, but then the mental side of it is he's kind of like an arm to lean on, and that's what I like about Farke. So it could quite possibly be our new signing in the door. But what you said there about Jayden Bogle, 110%, you know, me and you did say it, but I think Bogle was phenomenal last year, and even now, like, he just looks at it, he's up for it, and that's what I love.
Yeah. BMG says here, the other question mark over El Khannouss is that we might play the 4-3-3 and there mightn't be room for him in this system. Yeah, this was obviously my thinking as well, but I have seen he has operated out on that left-hand side, and there was times for Leicester City last year that obviously he started in that attacking midfielder role, but he was drifting out to that left-hand side, picking up the ball out the left-hand side. Will Daniel Farke want that, you know, the 4-3-3 to be kind of interchanging? Or, as I said, is this just a pre-season like what he done last year, changing up the formation to get as much minutes in the legs, and as soon as he hits that first day against Everton, he's going to revert back to the 4-2-3-1. Who knows? But it is a very good point, BMG, and this is what I thought about as well. But as I said, he does operate on the left-hand side, so does Daniel Farke feel like you can get more out of him on that left-hand side?
I think the fact that Farke is kind of changing, especially in pre-season now, of changing the formation is something good to see from our perspective, considering, you know, no disrespect, but like Brendan Aronson going in there, and I thought Brendan Aronson done very well last year, but there's times he does get pushed off the ball an awful lot, and, you know, other Leeds fans like myself were kind of crying out, especially last January, go and get the number 10 now, whether he does change that system and he does get, you know, whoever that we get that can play in that number 10 role. I think it's simply about rotation and how he changes, because the Premier League, we're going to have to, with, you know, suspensions, injuries, you know yourself, they're going to come. So,
yeah. BMG says here, in my opinion, priorities are striker, winger, both of whom need to be a level up, and a backup fullback. But the striker is essential for the first game. The rest are coups. For me, look, I made a video about it during the week. For me, I'm a little bit nervous about the fullback position at the moment. I think you could rely on Piroe. Like, I wouldn't be, you know, throwing the toys out if Piroe starts that first game against Everton. I'm actually very interested to see how Piroe gets on now. I'm not saying hang your hat on him for the season. We definitely do need a striker. But at the minute, it's that fullback position that really kind of scares me at the minute, Dylan. As I said, look, the only fullback cover that we have, Sam Boyram, we know Isaac Smith is going to be going to Werder Bremen. We have been linked with some fullbacks. We're going to talk about them as well as we go through it tonight. But it's the fullback position for me that I think at the minute that's kind of changing into my priority now. That's not lessening the need for, you know, a left winger, you know, or an attacking type player, and also a striker that can score goals as well. So as I said, still a good bit, Dylan, for Leeds to do, but also as well, Dylan, we know about the outgoings. We know what's going to happen with Patrick Bamford. We know he played for the under-21s. They won 10-2. I think Joffrey scored 4, Greenwood got 2, I think, and Bamford scored as well. So he's going about his exit the right way if it is going to go that way. We've heard about Mateo Joseph ostracising himself from the squad, that he's training away from them now, just does money part of training and stuff like that. And you look at the difference in of what's happened to Joe Gelhardt. We will get into it a little bit more detail, but he's knuckled down, hasn't thrown his toys out, done his pre-season, went to the under-21, scored 4 goals, and could potentially get his move to Rangers, and he could get all that done. And Mateo Joseph could be sitting here rotting in Leeds, where if he had just went about it the right way, went and done pre-season, he could already be on the move, on loan to Betis or Girona or Celta Vigo, or up to Rangers, wherever it may be. So there's ways and means of doing things, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
Mark says here, evening boys, thinks this is going to be another multi-club scramble. I doubt that we come out on top of that if we were next year. Yeah, look, that was obviously the fear when we know Rangers took over at the 49ers. We all know the issues there if it is a multi-club scramble. We also know the difference there if it is like the positives of a multi-club there as well. And this is probably one of them that is a positive way you can kind of move them lesser players in your team, onto Rangers. Look at Rangers, our Champions League club as well. So he's going up there to play Champions League football, Joe Gelhardt, and I do think, look, we'll get onto that in a little bit more detail. But yeah, I just said, buddy, there's always going to be pros and cons of the multi-club model, Dylan, isn't there? That's obviously the thoughts of it. Far couldn't improve on Amris. Yeah, I don't think there's any improving him, buddy. Dylan, let's move on and let's speak about the striker position then. Rodrigo Muniz. Looks like this one is going to fall through Leeds United's grasp at the minute. As soon as I seen Newcastle United inquiring about him, look, I think we all know the situation. It's very well documented at the minute what's going on with Isak at Newcastle United. Doing very similar to what Mateo Joseph is doing. Wants to force his move out to Liverpool, down until I think he was back training in his club in Sweden and stuff like that. And yeah, it's disgraceful when you hear this. And then you're looking at a club like Liverpool, who similar has been done to them. Obviously, what Trent Alexander-Arnold has basically done to them, not signing a contract, forcing a move. Look, he went for free in the end, but it's just not the right way to deal about it. But this feels like, Dylan, that Newcastle were kind of testing the waters here. If Liverpool do come in with a big bid, I think it was 110 million was rejected by them today. Is Muniz then Newcastle's first choice to take over Isak? And you more or less think, Dylan, if it is and Isak does go on, I think it's 150 million Newcastle are talking about getting from, Newcastle are going to have absolutely no problem with taking the Muniz off us, are they?
No, 100%. Coming into his prime at 24, we've talked about him. The only thing that I get the negative thing out of the way straight away is the injury concern from him. Is the injury concern, but it's simply down to what's the best interest for the player. Muniz just keeps coming up. I'm just at the stage now where it's going to just get him or don't get him, because it's going on weeks now. But a firm believer, I think we should definitely get a striker. Whether it is Muniz, I don't know. But I'm putting my eggs in one basket for Piroe. I'm being honest with you. I think Piroe's not gonna smash it, but he's gonna do well. I've backed him from the start. I'm gonna continue to back him. But I don't know. Like, if there's interest coming from Newcastle, it could be just noise from his agent as well. You just don't know. It's what I've learned, especially with this transfer window, is there's a lot of cobwebs, if that's what you want to say, and you just don't know what the truth is. I think for me, for with Muniz, is he's young and he is coming to his prime. It could potentially be a good signing for Leeds. Then on the other hand, it's kind of like, is there better, cheaper, or maybe are we going to pay a little bit more for what Muniz is worth? So you just don't know. But yeah, look, I'm not pushed. I don't mind.
If we said it at the start as well, Dylan, and a lot of people in the chat that were around at the time when the Muniz link first came up, we said that this was always going to be a hard one to get done.
Yeah.
We then came out from the local journalist that Leeds said if they are going to get this done, it's going to be later on in the window. Now, look, we know we've got a good bit of business done so far in this window. And it has been, you know, the back line, the goalkeeper, the central midfielder. We know we've got all that sorted. But these positions now are the key positions in football. These are the positions that all the football teams go after, you know, the attacking type players, the strikers. And we know the longer this goes on, the harder it's going to get them. And we said it at the time that if Leeds are going to go get Muniz, they need to go do it now, get it done, get it sorted. Because the longer it goes on in the window, you could have other potential suitors. Newcastle have obviously joined the race. Just talk about Atalanta being in there as well. They're looking at him as well. I think they bid it for Matete and it was rejected, and now they're looking at Muniz as well. So you can see other suitors now are starting to come in and take a look at him as well. And you kind of look at that and you say, look, Leeds is a newly promoted club. That how we kind of let this one slip. That if we were going to pull the trigger on it, it's get it done, get it earlier, and get it sorted. But there is other strikers out there though, Dylan, isn't it, that we can look at. So I wouldn't think of it as the be all and end all. He seemed like the number one priority for the striker position, but we have been linked to others. Beto, is he any better than Muniz? Who knows? Look, it's obviously going to be what your opinion is on it. We have Gassand in there as well. There's been talks about him as well. So it's the striker position, Dylan, is one for me where it's a little bit like, you know, who are we going to get, because we need someone that can score goals.
Well, with Mattia Joseph heading out the door now, and obviously potentially Bamford, you know, you've Piroe and you've Nemecha, sorry, and you could say potentially Harry Gray. I want 4. I'm not asking for much, I swear. I want 4. I want the competition between strikers. We've seen it last season with Mattia Joseph. I know he's young. I think his ceiling is so high. I think he's wrong what he's doing. But you want that kind of... Obviously, Harry Gray is going to obviously step into that role now, potentially be the 4th striker. But
yeah,
with Nemecha, Piroe, and then potentially Muniz or wherever striker we get, you want that competition. Who's going to grab the jersey? That's what I want. And I'm not just saying we need to get a striker in the door because we're in the Premier League, or, you know, I want this star man. I simply want it because Farr kind of has that man management. He'll drop you like a hat. I know he has his favourites, but with all these new signings, all these high lads, big lads, the goalkeeper, it's a lot of competition at the back, even in the goalkeeper position. I want that up front.
Yeah, we need it, 100%. Sean O'Sullivan says 49 is very quiet atmosphere. Could be something going on in the background, and it is, Dylan. It's gone quiet as well, and we've seen it with the 49ers. We've seen it in this window that it went very quiet for about 8 days, and then we got 2 signings in the door consecutively. And let's just hope that Sean is onto something here, and it's this similar situation as well, that, you know, Domino's going to fall, and we kind of get it sorted as soon as we possibly can. Because look, we obviously know the first kind of, what it feels like to me, the first kind of proper pre-season game tomorrow, back at Elland Road for all these new signings to get a first taste of the crowd. Looks like it's going to be a sellout as well. So look at our massive, decent test tomorrow as well against Villarreal, Champions League side. So a test for these players, you know, because we know we've been out in Germany kind of playing them lesser sort of side. So I'm looking forward to see how we get on tomorrow. So I'm hoping after tomorrow then 49ers, Fark gets a good look at it and going, right, pull the trigger on this, pull the trigger on that, get it sorted, because obviously we know with AC Milan then the following week and then the following Monday, that's it, then it's everything. So it's 18 days or whatever it is for the kick-off of the season. But you want that squad ready to go, don't you, for the first game?
Well, look, I'm being honest with you. I simply just want more or less all our players in the door for when they come to play in the Aviva against AC Milan. Because I'm just being greedy. I just want to see these new players at full speed and just, you know, like, what way Fark's going to set up, what way he's going to rotate it, who's going to start, who's not, just to get a figure out for our own selves of what's happening. But then it's just getting them up to speed. I've said it week in, week out, lads. It's a team game. It's not a starman game, as someone said in the comment there. Building chemistry, building relationship with the lads. That's what it's all about. And then, as you said, going to Elland Road, a sellout game. You know, these new players are going to feel it. They're going to know what Elland Road and what Leeds is about come tomorrow. And then it's just getting them in and getting them fitting up to speed straight away, because we all know how Fark handles the start of a season. I'm not throwing him off. I think he's going to do okay, but I just, you know, you just want everyone up to speed from the get-go. Yeah, agreed. Totally agree. Jam says here, we need some different makers now, don't we? The spine of the side is there. We just need some sprinkle of Stardust, and that is it, Dylan. That's it. Not that it's
you know, the defending side of the game is easy to get them in. Look at the negotiations; are always going to be difficult, but it is these key players, you know, the ones with, you know, the talent that score goals, get assists. These are the players that are the hardest to get. These are the ones that cost the most money. These are the ones that are going to be the awkward ones to get in the door. And I kind of knew that the 49ers were kind of building from the back to kind of get to this situation. I think we've done very good in the transfer window so far. I think it's been absolutely quality. I don't think there's any denying that with the talent that we've brought in here. But it is just the cherry on the cake now, Dylan, that we need, isn't it? It's that, you know, sprinkler Stardust either on the wing, the number 10, and there's someone that can put the ball in the back of the net as well. So, and obviously the cover in the fullback position, I think more or less then we're done. Don't forget as well, we have the loan situation as well, Dylan, where we could easily get loan players in to kind of fluff around the squad as well.
It'd be no harm there. It's no harm.
James Justin, but we need to be smart, Dylan. This window needs to be, for me, a 9, 10 out of 10 window, and then we need a little bit of luck in the Premier League if we're going to survive, because it's going to be tough.
Well, like going back to Solomon last season, he was phenomenal. He was absolutely phenomenal. He was more or less our main man, let's be honest with you. And to be quite frank, I wouldn't mind taking him back over all the other players that we've been linked with. I'm being honest with you. Yeah,
Tony Andrews, have to read it. Lads, keep calm to me. Muniz will be making his debut at the Viva next week. Then he'll be heading to the Camden for a few points after. I think
I'll be waiting.
A few, especially if
I'll be carrying him out and he'll be carrying me out. You signing for Leeds or what? What's the story? Come on, tell me.
Get it done. Quirky says, are you looking at getting any Leeds players in your fantasy team? Do you know what? Fantasy isn't something that I've actually done. I obviously done it the 3 years Leeds were in the Premier League last. And obviously haven't done it. I just, when it's nothing got to do with Leeds, I don't really have much interest in it. But I might do it again this year. I know we're looking to try and get it going and working on a bit of a sweepstake on it. So yeah, I'll try and get a couple of Leeds players in there. But it's the one that scores goals. Might stick Perry in nets as well. See how he gets on. Mr. Yorkshire Monkey says, definitely need flair players now. The spine is sorted. That's it, Dylan. But we're on to the tough part of the team now, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
GP26 says, everyone's overlooking Piroe. He will be a beast in the EPL. It's a perfect style for him to play. Silent assassin. Yeah, look, I'm kind of undecided. I know what side Dylan is definitely on about Joe Piroe. I'm kind of undecided. I really want him to do well. I'm quietly intrigued to see how he'll get on. Is it going to be a similar situation to what we've seen from Patrick Bamford his first season up in the Premier League? It was 17 goals. Patrick Bamford scored. I'm hoping and looking forward to that it's the same output from Joe Piroe. But again, Dylan, I'm the other side of it is just don't hang out everything on him. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and, hope that it's
definitely not. No, I don't want, like, as I said, I'm a Piroe lover, I'm being honest with you, but I still want competition. I still want if Piroe doesn't start, who is starting, more or less. And, if Piroe does come off the bench and score a goal, well, then he's doing his job.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's not an unbelievable, he's just a typical, probably a bit harsh to compare him to this, but like Mark Viduka, he just shoots and scores. A bit of luck sometimes, and he just has that technique to him.
I talked about him, Dylan, the other night when I talked about the squad depth and what we have at the minute and what Leeds need to do in these final 4 weeks if we're going to get Premier League ready. And I was kind of obviously talking about that fullback position, and I spoke about Joe Piroe at the time, and I kind of said the vibe that I get from Joe Piroe is that when he doesn't have time to think about his finish, when he doesn't have time to think about the next pass, that's when he really comes to life. It's like when he has that kind of half yard to think about what he's going to do next. It's like he always gets undecided, will I pass it, will I shoot? That instinctiveness that he has, that fox in the box of getting in there, arriving late. We've seen the amount of goals that he scored this season in and around the box. He's lethal. We've seen the goal away at Bramble Lane as well. He can definitely pack a shot as well. So I'm hoping that with the Premier League being more fast-paced, more quality, and it being closed down quicker, that will play into his game a little bit more, will encourage him to move the ball quicker and just take shots, trusting himself, because, as I said, you get Joe Piroe anywhere around that 18-yard box, I'd back him to score goals, I really would. But again, it's the other side of it, and it's not just a one-man team. You need everyone else to collectively, creating these opportunities and getting the ball to him in the right position. So, don't want to see him dropping too deep. There was times last year where he was dropping very deep. Essentially, there was times he was dropping into that central midfield role, coming in on top of Tanaka and Ampadu, and don't be getting in there, Joe Piroe. Want you getting in, the end of the box. That's what I'd be telling him for the years I was a striker. All my coaches always turned around and told me, get in the box. If your wingers or your midfielders, get into the box and get on the end of it. And I think that's what Joe Piroe needs to do a little bit more.
I think if you take, because Matteo Joseph, we obviously seen it, he likes that front post run. Yeah. If we take that and put that into Piroe, I think he'd be completely unstoppable, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, you're right, he does. He dropped off a lot last season. Definitely towards the end of the season, he was a lot better. I've said it, and I'm still going to say this. I don't really typically agree with him in the 10. I think I think he just doesn't. It doesn't suit him, if I'm being honest with you. But what BMG said there a minute ago, I actually wouldn't mind the Mattia and Piroe up top together. That could be a show.
What do you do? Do you go back to the 4-2-3-1, drop Piroe into the 10 and the Mattia up top? Because
I'll probably drop the Mattia into the 10. Give him a chance. Because we've seen it with Rutter, Darren. Rutter's kind of big and broad. I know he had that kind of bit of, you could say, stardust in him to a certain degree, but I just think in the match, you quite possibly could hold up the play really well.
I think, Dylan, in the championship, I think that's obviously a very, very good front here. And I think in the championship, you could definitely get away with that, like what we've seen with Rutter and Piroe. I think in the Premier League, Dylan, it's totally different. I don't think you get that. I think if you're going to go number 10 in the Premier League, you need to be really creative. We've seen a big swing in the Premier League over the last 18 months of a lot of teams coming away from that number 10 role and going to the 4-2-3-1. We've seen it at Man City, we've seen it in Liverpool over the last couple of years. So for me personally, just my opinion, I wouldn't like to see the two of them. If you're going to play the two of them up front, well, you're going to have to go 4-4-2 for me. I don't think either of them would be creative enough for me in the Premier League to create goal scoring chances. If you are going to get El Khannouss in, start Joe Piroe up top, and you have El Khannouss feeding the Mattia or Joe Piroe, I'd be happy enough with that. But I think the two of them together, just my opinion, I don't
put Tanaka in the 10.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. People keep saying I'm mad, but like I genuinely
I'd love to see. I would. To be fair, I would.
Yeah, Emort says with Joseph out of the frame now, we need two strikers in, and that's it. Bamford's going to go as well. And I'm hoping that them long positions come into play in. I hope that we have a eye on our number one target. I hope we get him, and I hope that's the one that we look forward to scoring goals. And then I wouldn't mind seeing another one come in, especially if Gelhardt's going as well. I know he's not going to be in around the team, but you're essentially that's three strikers offloading, and Gelhardt and Joseph and Bamford. So definitely another one to come in, Dylan. Maybe a lone one that we could get in and be a backup as well. It could come into play as well. Let's have a look here. Wayne says fans so quickly putting down players. Exactly, Wayne, all the time, and you just don't know. And look, as I said, we said the exact same thing about Paddy Bamford when we took the step up to the Premier League. Everyone was writing him off. He was never going to do it, and look what he done. Look, we know what followed in years after that. But I wouldn't be too quick to write these players off. And it's not just Joe Piroe, Dylan, that the questions are over in this team. It's everyone. Can Ethan Ampadu take the step up? Can Jaden Bogle, keep his game there? Can Willie Gnonto go back to them heights that we've seen before? Dan James, the last time in the Premier League, it was hit and miss with him. Can he prove himself? There's a question mark over them all. Lucas Perry, obviously coming from France, can he take the step up as well? So they all have a question mark, and they all have something to prove, Dylan, don't they? That they can make it at this level
for themselves, for the club of Leeds, the city of Leeds. That's what it's all about. But it's a different owner now. As I keep saying, I've said it in previous streams. The sleeping beast has awoken, and now this is where the new chapter in Leeds. I know that sounds a bit mad, but I genuinely believe the 49ers are going to do everything that they possibly can to make sure Leeds don't go back down. And I have full faith. Yeah, definitely this season. Obviously, the future is the future, but for this season, I genuinely think Leeds will stay up.
Yeah, 100%. Pierre says it's great to see such a balanced show with great community. I'll be back off, and thanks very much, buddy. Yeah, and that's look at what we try to do here on OnlyLeedsBros as much as we possibly can, even though emotions can take over us all a little bit. We try and have a good bit of debate. We try and do it in a level-headed way. We try not to get too overreactionary. We try to be a little bit realistic. So thanks very much for your comment, buddy. Do really appreciate that. Connor says, why are things so stale with transfers? I wouldn't say they're stale, buddy. I'd say more so gone a little bit quiet. But as we spoke about, I wouldn't say that's a bad thing, Dillo, because we know with the 49ers, when it does go quiet, dominoes do go to fall. So I wouldn't say stale just yet, buddy. I think this is the hardest part of our squad that we need to get fixed. And so I just think be a little bit patient, and as what Dylan said there, trusting the 49ers.
Like with the pre-season in as well, like I'd say Fark is looking at his options, looking at what needs to be improved as well. Like, don't forget, you can sit in a room and look at a computer with faces on it going, we need him, and him. I think it really does improve the pudding on the pitch, if I'm being honest with you. From what way. I don't know, it sounded good in my head when it came out. at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, of what kind of players that he's going to be looking at. And then, as Danny said, there are certain formations of what way he's going to set up. And that could be it. That's why these names, like, well, in my head anyway, are going to keep coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the proof
just
is
one here from John Paul Redmond, which is John Redmond's son that we spoke about earlier on in the video, guys. He said, "Hi guys, thanks so much for what you did. Lovely messages of support." He was so happy. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone was seeing it. So myself and Dylan reached out to a couple of ex-Leeds players, Don Matteo, Ben Parker, Paul Reaney, Jerry Lynch from The View, Joe Wayman, Connor from One Leeds. We reached out to as many Leeds people as we possibly could and put a little get well wish video to John Redmond, and he's seen it today and it really lifted his spirits. So, and that's what it means to be Leeds. I know we're kind of sidetracking from the show and that, Dylan, but like, this is why I love being Leeds, is when something like this happens, the Leeds family, we really rally behind each other, we get together, and it's just class, isn't it? I just love being Leeds, like there's nothing like it in the world.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, you know. We started this off, and John and Danny were obviously one of our kind of start off subscribers, and you know, and they were always getting the chat going. And myself and you obviously met him in the hotel.
The difference a year makes when remember there was one show, Dylan, there was only 5 people watched us for an hour. Now we've got 155 people watching us tonight, and as I said, like, it was people like John at the very start, and after the show we'd write to us and we'd feel a little bit down that only 5 people watched us, and should we continue with OnlyLeedsBros? And John would always be there behind us and always saying, lads, you're doing great, keep going, don't care how many people is watching you, you know, even if there's 5 people watching, well, there's 5 people enjoying doing what you're doing. And he's just such a lovely man, like, and he gave so much encouragement, so much,
and that just shows of the fanatic of a Leeds fan that he was, and still is, and what a legend of a man he is. Pure legend.
Yeah. Right, let's try and get back into it. BMG says, "I'm not sure about the creative number 10 that works for dominant teams, which will rarely be. I prefer box-to-box crash or physical, which is why I like the idea of Uche. I'd like Uche as well. We were linked with him, very loosely linked with him at the start of the window. I agree with you, BMG, with this one. And it is in the Premier League. It's more the box-to-box number 8, like a Longstaff type of player. Creative number 10s in the Premier League have been very ineffective over the last couple of years. The way the Premier League has kind of gone a little bit back more the physical side of it. We've seen with what Nottingham Forest have done as well, with kind of bigger physical type of players. Seems to be swinging back that way, but who knows? Football can just change again, Dylan, can't they? My boyfriend Barbie really thinks we can stay up next season. She has her hair dyed in Leeds colours. We should do that tomorrow, Dylan. I should like spray my hair white and you spray your hair blue and just rally down the road on that.
I've nothing left. I've not much left of hair. If I go spraying things, it'll probably just come out altogether. I'm trying to hold on to the bit I have.
Fans are also assassinating the 49ers and the recruitment team. I don't get it, Pierre. I really don't, where the hate comes from the 49ers. Like if you put their period of under Radrizzani aside, because I don't think they had much say in it since they took full control of Leeds United. For me, they've made a lot of good decisions. Of course, a couple of bad ones. Every ownership does do that, but I think everything that they've done has been for the good of the football club. Now, you can obviously pick at the little things like the South Stand, the away ticket situation for next season and stuff like that, but I think transfer-wise, the ground, everything that they're kind of putting in place for Leeds United to be an established Premier League club, and they're doing it in the right way, in the professional way. Under the last regime was very much a swing of a bat, Dylan, wasn't it? It felt like we were still a League One club, you know, in the Premier League. It just feels different. It feels like the foundations of the 49ers feel a lot stronger this year going into the Premier League, and we're giving ourselves a real chance to sustain ourselves.
Definitely. Agree.
Yeah. Wayne says Bamford won't go anywhere unless Leeds make up his 40k wage check or 70k wage check. Yeah, look, that's obviously the situation for the club to sort out. But will Bamford want to go play? I think he's 32 now. Will he just say to himself, I'll cut me ties, I'll cut me losses, I've kind of made me money, let's go elsewhere? There was talks of Wrexham there a while ago. Wrexham will obviously pay him a decent amount. Will he go to America? Who knows? But it's going to be interesting, the outgoings, how the Mateo Joseph one sorts itself out, and the Patrick Bamford one as well. Danny says, smash a like and subscribe, guys. Please do it. A couple of likes off 100 likes, which would be absolutely fantastic. If you could please do that for us. Dylan, let's move on and then talk about a couple of the full-back positions as well. Obviously, look at earlier on in the week, we were loosely linked with James Justin from Leicester City. We mentioned him last Friday, even before the links came out, that he would be one that we think could be a good cover for Isaac Smith going. I'd be happy with this one. I think he's very reliable defender, can do it on both sides as well. Premier League experience. When this one came out, Dylan, happy enough with this one? Would you think Leeds go after this one?
I done a lot of digging on this one, if I'm being honest with you. Same thing, YouTube, and then I looked up on certain websites of his stats and just basically his background. So obviously he was deployed from Luton Town, then joined Leicester in 2019, 167 senior appearances, contributing 11 goals and 10 assists between the Championship and the Premier League. Versatility, primarily a right back, equally comfortable at left back, noted for his crossing and his passing ability, and for using both feet. So that's definitely a tactical setup that would suit Daniel Farke. So yeah, I'm quite excited about this one, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, as you said, both sided. He can play both sides. He's high involvement in tackles. He loves a good tackle. What Leeds fan doesn't love a good tackle? Let's be honest with you. His clearances and recoveries, he just kind of has that clear mind-headed, if that makes sense. Does it simple, doesn't do anything too drastic, and likes to go forward. And then he's a few cards other than that, but he's quite intelligent, is the vibe that I got from what I was reading. He has a football brain. I think we can all agree with that. So yeah, I'm actually quite excited about this one, Darren, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, agree.
Another Leicester player. Well.
Thanks very much, Michael. Says, love your content and WhatsApp group. Yeah, we do have a WhatsApp group, guys. So if any of you are interested, reach out to us on X or Instagram or anything like that. I'll drop you the link to come in there. I was putting the link and the QR code up on our Twitter, but we were getting a lot of scammers coming in and dropping links and stuff like that.
Trying to sell motorbikes and all.
Accept people in. Yeah, it was mad stuff. So yeah, if you fancy coming in and having a chat, I think there's about 30 of us in there, and we chat Leeds United every day and talk about the transfer window. And some of us get worked up, and then the other people kind of help us out and calm each other down, and then just general day-to-day chat. So if you are up for that, make sure to drop us a DM. We'll send you the link, and you're more than welcome to pop in and join all the other Leeds fans in there, Dillo. Yeah, Dylan, look, as I said about James Justin, he's one that I certainly would like, and to be honest with Dylan, it's hard to say this about Isaac Smith because we didn't really get to see him much, but from what I have seen of James Justin, he looks like a very, very good player. I do think it'd be an upgrade to Isaac Smith as well, a very, very good cover. You know, if you had got Bogle out for 1 or 2 games, if you had got good Munson out for 1 or 2 games, I think he'd fill in there really well. I'd be a lot more confident in someone like him filling that position rather than Isaac Smith. So, look, as I said, it's very loose rumours. You see the transfer status there. It's only rumours at the moment. There's nothing kind of credible behind it now. There was talks that Leeds United where, you know, we're going in hard from, and then obviously that was squashed as well. So, it's interesting, Dylan, isn't it, in the full-back position, because with Isaac Smith going, leaving the likes of Sam Byram, we spoke about it, that we know Pascal Struijk can cover the left-hand side, we know Borneo can cover the right-hand side, but again, that's going into the Premier League with square pegs and round holes. That's not the ideal thing to do, is it?
No, definitely not. With Schmidt leaving now as well, you can't expect good months and first year in the Premier League just to, you know, more or less play everything. We've only seen him once. Obviously, we're going to see him again tomorrow if he starts. But then Sam Byram as well. Like, I love Sam Byram, lads, but he is not going to... he's not going to play every game, let's be honest with you. He's there for like the Joshua Gilavogi, if mine, and played a few cup games, but he does a good job, Byram. But yeah, I think this one would be a good one to go for. As I said, I was quite excited. Simply, Darren, because he can operate from both sides. That's the main thing for me. With Boga going out, or Goodmunson, or Byram, it's just to give us that bit of comfort. We've seen it last season, you know, especially with you. A few times we've seen Rodon, if he was getting injured, I could see you panicking in the camera, like, you know. So it's not, it's definitely not one. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Dillo, agree with you there, buddy. What was I here? John Pepper says here, Darren and Dillo, I think Leeds will finish 15th next season. What do you think? I think at the minute, buddy, with the way the current squad is, I think it's tough. I do. Look, you're obviously going to say we survive, look, but 15th, I'd take it, obviously 100%. I'd take it in a heartbeat. We do have a lot to do. Sunderland are obviously doing bits in the transfer market at the minute. We've seen Brentford lose a lot of players. It's hard to kind of work out at the minute who's going to, you know, fall down the trap a little bit, who's going to make a little bit of gains. Sunderland had a lot more work, in my opinion, to do than what Leeds have, so I think that's why they're making the tracks what they have now. There's no denying they've had a fantastic window. As I said, Brentford lost a couple of players, bringing in Keith Andrew. Wizza looks like he's gone as well, and Buemo is gone. Obviously a massive loss, losing Thomas Frank as well, who's no denying he's a very good manager. So Yeah, it's interesting to see. Look, I'll take 17th, Dylan. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. They take the hand off you now. Over it, snap it, straight away. No, but I actually thought 15th. If I'm being honest with you, yeah, I'm going to say 15th. I'm going to be positive.
Yeah,
I know BMG likes me to be positive, so I'll be positive. I'm going to say 15th.
You're hoping BMG wouldn't be in here tonight, so you could be a little bit negative. BMG,
I'd say 12th, but I don't want to shoot myself in the foot either. I think 15th is a reasonable target.
Yeah, me too. Michael Pollard has a good one here. He says Smith replacement. Not sure how far convinces a player to come in and effectively sit on the bench or sit out on the bench next season. Smith's situation was poorly managed.
I agree.
Do you feel, Dylan? Do you feel Smith was a Fark signing, or do you think it was a club signing?
A club signing.
It was a club signing.
100%. Like, he was playing in all different positions, and I wouldn't mind. I think it was actually Michael Pollard. We did have a conversation, I think, in the last video, and he actually did say every time that he did come on, he did look at it. And I have to agree. I thought he didn't do anything phenomenal. He didn't have a whole lot to do, but he did look sharp. He moved the ball well. I don't know. To me, I just think it was maybe a panic buy.
Philip says here, Byron will end up joining Housen as a coach. Yeah, look, I hope not. I hope not this season, but like, as I said, I think maybe remember like what Cooper had his last season at Leeds, where he wasn't really playing much, but still an influence in the dressing room. Look what Gilavogi had this season in the Championship. That's what I'm thinking for Sam Byram. I don't think any sustained time on the pitch for me. Now, look, if he comes in for a League Cup game or an FA Cup game, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to, throw the toys out. But it scares the living daylights out of me to think that you could have Mo Salah running up against Sam Byram, Jared Bowen with an unbelievable amount of pace. Like, it just scares the life out of me, the thoughts of that. So
I'm not going to sleep tonight. BMG on negative now. Let you know. He's at the shivers going up my back now after talking about that. No, look, look, the fullback position, it needs to be looked at. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I think Leeds will surprise other in the league. I hope so, pal. I hope so. And look, I think the big advantage Leeds United have, and of course we're going to say it, I think it is Elland Road and our fan base. Look, we even heard the last time we went up to the Premier League how in awe everyone was of Leeds United. We hear, every time we're down in the Championship, we hear pundits always turn around and go, the Premier League needs Leeds United. And I said, I think there's times, in the game, especially Monday night against Everton, I really think that's a real chance to get off to a good start. 3 points at home, under the lights. Elland Road is going to be bouncing. It's going to be raucous. First game back in the Premier League. And that's the type of games, Dylan, that I think that Leeds United can do damage on. Them home games can really kind of swing the toys. And then you're hoping away against them lesser sides that we pick up, a few points on the road, isn't it?
That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, all clubs are in the same situation wherever they play, whether it's away from home or home. At the end of the day, though, it's all about the 12th man. Let's be honest with you. I think with the Leeds fans, we're just lunatics, and I love it. We're absolutely loving it, and look, we're going to be all right, lads. We'll be fine. And I agree with Shane there. I think West Ham and Everton will struggle, and then you can say the BMG just said it there for me. Brentford, I think, will drop off as well. Yeah. So, we're so concentrated on us and what we're coming up against, but we're not thinking about, look at the clubs that are kind of struggled last season, are going to continue to struggle. Now going to look with Brentford, with Thomas Frank leaving as well. Are they going to be... Yeah, there you go, see? Yeah. It's Friday night.
Matty from Imagine Not Being Leeds says, we've seen in pre-season so far 3 games undefeated, plenty of goals, Piroe scoring, Willie scoring, new signings already looking good, momentum is huge in sport, we've given ourselves a chance, absolutely, and that's what it says tomorrow, Dylan, for the game against Villarreal. Look, we step it up now, it's another level tomorrow against decent competition tomorrow back at Elland Road. Them players get to taste their first taste of Elland Road, or what it's like, what the atmosphere is like, and really kind of bed themselves in. So it's interesting times. Dylan, let's move on then, and let's talk about a very, very loose link, and must have to be said. We'll go through the details of it. I love his name. I'd sign him alone on his name, Mattia Zanotti. Imagine
so
that.
Like a pasta or something, isn't it? A pasta dish. There's your Stardust. There's your little sprinkle of Stardust now on your pasta.
Gonna get a bit of Mattia Zanotti and garlic bread on the side.
Bars and chips. Let's go.
We'll go through it anyway, Dylan, about Zanotti. So obviously this came from not a very reliable resource. They said that Leeds United were in advanced talks from Mattia Zanotti. It came from Lorenzo Laporte. His tweet went on to say that Leeds are eyeing up ex-Inter Milan fullback Mattia Zanotti. He's in the 99th percentile for assists, which is very, very good, Dylan. He's 96 for a progressive carry, so he loves to get forward. He's a very attacking type of right back, 22 years of age. Lugano now at the minute, Dylan. But then Graham Smith threw a bit of cold water on us, and before we could even get excited, it was over and it was done and it was out. But names like this, Dylan, and it's similar to the winger position, isn't it? That we knew after Piroe that we were going to be linked with him then and everywhere, and then we obviously know what Isaac Smith and Leeds have put it out there. They're going to be looking at a full back, and it's going to be these names that we're linked with at the minute. But him, Dylan, I take him as well. He looks very, very good at getting forward.
Yeah, he's very good, strong offensively, and his delivery 9 times out of 10 is spot on. And then just for me, straight off the bat, he delivered key contributions in European Cup match. Like what's not to like about that? He has European under his belt, European competitions. Goes into all his his minutes and all. 41 matches, two goals, 11 assists, 3,445 minutes placed in Europa and Conference League. That's between the two of them, so it's not bad if you think about it. But same thing as you said there. Take it with a pinch of salt. Watch a few videos. Not a whole lot on him, but as you said, it's loose link, so you kind of just put the brakes on a little bit. They're kind of not be getting too excited.
Yeah, I was digging, as soon as I seen the tweet, I was digging into him, was checking him out, I was like, yeah, he looks good. Then I went back on Twitter and Graham Smith just had this on the on the link, and I was like, before I even started starting to write down my notes and all for the stream, and then all of a sudden then it's gone and it's out the gap. But yeah, his name along Mattia Zanotti is just, what a name. Zanotti. Lovely. Right, Michael Pollard says, remain friendlies. Do we need to see Jack Harrison and Mez anymore? We should be close to a starting lineup as we're running our friendlies. I would 100% agree with you here, Michael. I really, really would. I'd agree with you now. I think Daniel Farke now from tomorrow in the game against AC Milan, we need to nail it down. I'm sure he already has in his head who the starting 11 might be. I think we might see that tomorrow, so it's going to be a very, very good indication when a team lineup comes out. Is it going to be 4-2-3-1? Is it going to be 4-3-3? And then obviously then the following week then AC Milan then in Dublin is going to be the real indicator of what Daniel Farke has in his head. So we're getting there. We're nearly there. But I agree with you, buddy. He needs to start looking at who's going to be starting that first day of the season. So yeah, total 100% agree with you. Dylan, let's move on and let's talk about a potential outgoing in Joe Gelhardt, a player that me and you really like, a player that we feel is one of them that's like, when he came in, he looked like he had all the talent in the world. He could have been the next big thing at Leeds United. It hasn't quite worked out for him. He definitely gave us glimpses, Dylan. I always remember winning that penalty against Wolves, his jinking run against Brighton when Strike scored at the back post. He has given us some very, very good times, Joe Gelhardt. But reports today now comes from Peter O'Rourke, who a little bit slow, a little bit kind of off things at times. I wouldn't take this 100% as gospel, but he has linked Joe Gelhardt with a move up to Glasgow Rangers. And the reason I kind of want to talk about it, even though it's not fully credible behind it, is that this one probably would make sense, Dylan, for everyone around. We know obviously the link with Leeds and the 49ers. Joe Gelhardt needs a move. He needs to go play football, and Rangers are obviously looking, for talent to go up there to bolster their chance to challenge Celtic next season for the division. So what do you think of this one, Dylan? Good move for Gelhardt if it materialises?
I think regardless where Joffy just needs a move away, and I'm simply just saying this because as you said there, he needs to go play football. I don't want him to go. I actually really like Joffy. I just feel like he's being wasted and it's not fair on him. Excuse me. He's definitely a great talent. He's given us good memories. I would like him to stay, but it's obvious that Daniel Farke doesn't rate him, which is fair enough at the end of the day. But he's a young lad. You need to go let him play football.
He's only 23, then. When I put that graph together today, he's only 23, still has a good bit of football left in him.
I know.
If he was to go, then it's not even a loan deal. It's talks of a permanent move, which I think that's what Joffy does need. He needs to go somewhere and play, consistent football. Look, his market value is 4 million. I don't know if Leeds are going to get the 4 million for him, but you'd probably like to think about 2.5, possibly 3 million for Gelhardt. I'd be putting on a sell-on clause in him as well, or putting a buyback clause in him as well, because obviously we know the 49ers and the Rangers linked there as well. But I wouldn't be fully kind of saying, see you later, Joe Gelhardt, sorry it didn't work out. He'd be one I'd like to keep a close eye on and see how his career progresses, because I do think he has a talent in there to be a good player.
I'd be 100% honest with you. I'd actually rather Joffy over Mateo Joseph, and that's the truth. Maybe it's he just gave us good times, and he was just there. Like Bielsa rated him. You know, he played a lot of games for us. He scored a few goals, and just be kind of. And you know what? There was a match that me and you went to, and he was actually on the front of the program. Someone drew a picture of him. Remember?
Yeah.
And that for me, then that was going to end. I just, look, I highly rate him, but he does need to go play football. If I'm being completely honest with you. So look, as Danny said, they're 49ers selling to the 49ers. That's looking like what's going to happen.
And BMG says, I like how you do these shows, a bit off the base, some off topic, but you have a list of topics and bring it back to at the right time. That's what we try and do, because myself and Dylan are obviously we're not hardcore football. What would you say, Dylan? Like football, like merchant, we would know all like stats and statistics. Obviously, since we started the channel, we try to do that. So we obviously always have a list of players that we want to talk about, what's out there, what's in the sphere. But we're more dealing about, a bit of banter and a bit of fun as well, and kind of a bit of light-hearted, and obviously getting your thoughts on as well. As you said, a bit of debate. A bit of debate is obviously the main thing, and the reason why we do this. So thanks very much. Very nice comment, BMG. Love that, buddy. Thanks very much. Joffrey sell to Rangers for 5 off Dillo's best minions. 5 minions, Dylan. But have a sell-on clause and a buyback clause. Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. And yeah, maybe that works for the 49ers to do that as well. Could Rangers overpay to put us in the green for PSR? Yeah, possibly. Yeah,
Possibly. Yeah.
Gelhardt goes to Rangers for 20 million. Quality, wouldn't it? Ian Ward, yes, buyback clause would be smart. I think a buyback clause, 100%. Yeah, I wouldn't be fully writing him off and saying goodbye. Shane Dalton says, love Gelhardt, wish he stayed. Yeah, me too. There's a part of me that feels like, that it just didn't quite. It just didn't get the breaks. We definitely seen glimpses in him. Look at Somerville now signing him, lighting up the Prem with West Ham. Goes to show you, would anyone take him back if available? It's a hard no from me, and that's not from his talent. It's from what I heard on the end of that season that we lost the playoff final, of what it was like in that dressing room, that Somerville was meant to be a bit of a bad egg. Look, I don't know how true it is of what went on, and obviously we've seen the stuff with Piroe for the penalty and all that as well, but I just feel like together in this last season, Dylan, in that dressing room, you could see the players with a lot more like camaraderie in the dressing room. There's no denying that Somerville's a good player, but as you said, Shane, like, we're back in the Premier League now as well. He hasn't done it for West Ham. Do we really want him to come back to Leeds and not doing it for us? So yeah, I'd say no, Dylan. I think that ship is stale.
Why we go back? We don't need to go back. We move forward. For me.
Yeah, me too. I can understand how many of our players didn't kick like Greenwood, Drama, Bate, etc. But Joffrey did well and barely got a sniff. I think there's a player there. Yeah, me too, buddy, me too. And as I said, Dylan, there was talks when he went to Hull, didn't he? And he done well at Hull for the first couple of games, and we were delighted for him as well. And he seems like a genuine nice lad. His mum as well is always on Twitter, hyping him up and talking to the Leeds fans and stuff like that. He's one of them that, Dylan, if he leaves Leeds, you keep a close eye on him. You wish him all the best and all that, don't you?
Yeah, I'll definitely follow his career, 110%.
Yeah, nice balance to it, lads. Plus a bit of glass half full and a glass half empty. Nice balance. Dylan's the glass half empty, 100%, buddy. Before we do wrap it up, guys, and say good night as well, I just do want to remind you as well about the competition that we're running. So OnlyLeedsBros, I'll just pull that winner. There we go. OnlyLeedsBros turns 1 at the end of this month, guys, on the 21st of August. So we're running a bit of a giveaway. So OnlyLeedsBros turns 1 at the end of this month. We're celebrating by giving you guys a Leeds United, brand new Leeds United jersey, home or away of your choice. Hopefully the third kit is out by then as well, and you can pick off the third kit as well. But all you have to do to be in with a chance to win in this, guys, is make sure you're subscribed to the OnlyLeedsBros YouTube channel. Head across to our Twitter account, retweet the post, and then tag a mate in it below. So all you have to do is scan that QR code. Our link is in the description below as well to our X account. You can head across there and enter, guys. The winner will be announced live on stream on the 21st of August, where we'll show it up on the graph. All the
birthday hats, cake, the whole lot.
Yeah. So it's just a way of saying thank you, guys, for everything that you've done for us over the last year. It's been absolutely, phenomenal, fantastic to be, 3,400 subscribers in a year has been absolutely sensational, and it's all thanks to you guys. You make this something that we really enjoy doing, so we do really appreciate it. We get through the last few of the comments before we say goodnight. Sell on clause, yes. Buyback, no. For me, it's not good enough to where we want to go. That's fair, Mark.
That's a nice rhyme as well.
Buddy. Yeah, it was, yeah. Somerville was a one-trick pony. He'll get found out as well. Yeah, I think in the Premier League he gets found out. Craig, now for me, we had more cohesion in the team from Solomon last season, and which you scored the title winning goal. 100%, I agree. Dylan is overflowing tonight. What a lad. Because you were in the chat. You were in the chat keeping an eye on him, keeping an eye on him. Just as I arrived, the show was nearly finished. Yeah, that's what we said. White Snake is here. Let's get out. Let's leave. Thanks for popping in, nobody. Must be more the old ones. Very, very good. Very, very good. I remember the first stream. Yeah, the first stream. It was literally me and Danny. Go back and check it out if you want, lads. Just go into the live tab on OnlyLeedsBros, hit the oldest one. It'll bring you right back to the very first live I done, and it's just me and Danny in the chat. It's absolutely horrendous, but you can just sit there and have a laugh at me. I'm rattling and I'm and emming and stumbling over my words and everything. But yeah,
I thought you were stumbling there for a second. I didn't know what was going on.
Came a long way since then. Have a good one, lads. See us at the Aviva next week. We will see anyone that's going to the Aviva again, lads. Reach out to us, let us know. We're going to try and get a bit of a get together at Slattery's pub. It's just down the road from the Aviva Stadium. We're going to head there for a couple of points beforehand. Plenty of sing songs, plenty of crack and all that sort of stuff. So if you're heading to Dublin, let us know. Pop us your number, and we'll all get together and make it a cracking day out. A day to be remembered. Jam says, great stream once again, lads. Really wish you the best for tomorrow. Thanks very much, buddy. I'm nervous now. Have to go get my bike ready, make sure the wheels are pumped, pack the bag and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, really looking forward to it, guys. And we'll keep you updated. Keep an eye on our OnlyLeedsBros socials, and we'll let you know how we're getting on, guys. But again, thanks very much, guys, for absolutely everything. We do really appreciate it. On your way out, please, if you don't mind, make sure you're hitting that like button, and of course hitting subscribe if you enjoyed the stream. We'll chat to you all again soon. Mind yourselves and mind each other.